Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton ClubCall time. Building up to tonight's game against Newcastle United. 7:30 kickoff in the UK. Live on Amazon Prime. Which is great.
Yeah, this means it's easy to watch.
Yeah, it does. It does. Means not people not fumbling around for streams, unless they don't have Amazon Prime, of course. But who doesn't have Amazon Prime?
Then they will be.
Yeah, then there would be problems. Then there would be problems. So yeah, big game. Everton, hoping, touch wood, not to get beat. Don't want 3 defeats in a row, because then you know what'll happen. What? There'll be calls for all kinds. Frank will become the media's favourite and all the rest of it. So just don't get beat. Just don't get beat. Just play well and don't get beat. Is that too much to ask for? I don't think so.
Play well and don't get beat.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a lot to ask for with us.
Come on, Chet.
Yeah.
If you want to give us a call,
game.
anything you want to get off your chest, then the link is at the top of this video on Toffee TV Premier. So give us a call. Because who else are you going to call? 5 o'clock.
Not Ghostbusters, surely. Unless you've got a ghost, then.
Yeah.
They would be absolutely the right people to call.
Yeah.
No point calling us.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I'd like to know about it.
I wouldn't. I very much on
If people have got a ghost and they want to talk about it, then we're here to talk about it.
I'm very much on the don't tell me kind of train. Yeah, I don't really want to be scared.
No, I'm alright, then let's go.
But
I've
there you
listened
go.
to Ned enough to not worry too much about the dead. It's the living you have to fear.
The living is the one you have to fear, but I don't really want to go with the dead either. I'll be honest. Liam Haffenden says up the Toffee, 3 points tonight will be sound, in caps. It would be. Soph's gone there. Sophie doesn't beat around the bush. She goes.
Who does she want out?
Well, she's not looking forward to it tonight. She's dreading another game, watching rubbish like McNeil and Maupay. See, she doesn't beat around the bush, so she just goes.
Fair play to you.
I'm on. This is what my opinions are, and I'm going with it. And she's not rating Maupay and McNeil at the moment. The Matty Boosh says, "Hey up the boys. Hope all is good. Must win tonight. Won't be easy.
Is it a must win? Is it a must win? Because if you say it's a must win, then what if we don't win it? What is the outcome of not winning it?
The implications.
And that you've got to back that up.
It's not a must win for me. It's a please don't get beat for me.
Yeah.
If we win, then amazing. I think a must win is you're basically saying we don't win this game, the manager's got to go or whatever, and that's not what this is at all, in my opinion. It'd be lovely to win the game. Try not to get beat, so we don't get on into many mad runs. You seen Palace last night 1-0 down to Wolves and managed to turn it round to get a win. I didn't know whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest.
Surely for Crystal Palace.
That was a good thing for Palace.
It's a good thing.
So, because we've got them at the weekend, does that now give them more confidence? Would it have been better for us had they got beat? It's one of them, isn't it? So, we'll see. Age Willie says, agreed. There you go. We'll likely be grim again as we're very bad at the football. See, I don't think we are. We're just not scoring goals. That's the issue. The Matty Bush says, do you reckon Ned sees dead people?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I'm not aware of that either.
He'd probably share it.
He would probably share it.
And
he hasn't shared it yet, so that's good. Chris Bain says, I can't see us getting a result. Newcastle are a good side this season, but it's footballing, you never know. Dom goal and a defensive masterclass from Tarky and Cody. It's going to be difficult. Newcastle playing well. Got the crowd behind them. Resolute. But they also haven't got St. Maxim, who normally is amazing against Everton.
He is amazing.
And they haven't got Isaac either. They've got another couple of injuries that they're unsure about. So, just got to go out there and perform. They're not Man City, but they are. They're obviously a good side. So we just got to go and try and match them. And if we get opportunities, take them. because Saturday we proved we didn't take the 2 big ones we had in the first half. We ended up losing the game, so we can't keep missing chances because anyone will beat you, whether you're a good side or not. If you keep sparing opportunities, other teams don't seem to miss them. So Jay says here, fortunate that St Maximum and Isaac are out tonight. Just hope we can test Pope and at least look like we carry some sort of threat going forward.
I think it'll be the same as Saturday was in a way. First 20 minutes will be, you know, be hostile. It'll be very loud. It'll be the game, you know, will be played at a million miles an hour. And I think just get through that first 20 minutes without anything stupid, and settle the game down, settle the crowd down, and then try and play, you know, our own brand of football and go from there. I think the same. I mean, Saturday we were undone by a mistake and obviously the constant pressure of Spurs in the second half, but just try and get through that first 20 minutes and go from there.
Defo. Mathew Booth says the implications are what can happen to teams' confidence and what comes with that, and it's a team we should be looking to win after not winning the last couple. Okay. Apple 2 says, up the Toffees, do you guys have any match day rituals, like a special sauce on your beans on toast, providing you have sauce on your beans on toast?
I mean, number one, I'm not having beans on toast, and sauce on. I mean, isn't beans on toast? Doesn't that have sauce on it already?
It's fully sauced.
It is. I mean, it's very much. A third of it is sauce. So is there room for any other sauce? I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
I don't. If I ever succumbed to having beans on toast, which I don't.
That's
but if I ever
the way
did,
the country's going.
If I ever did, I'm not convinced I'd have an additional sauce onto it.
No.
I'm not sure I'd make it saucy. I'm just not. I think it's got its own element of sauce. Well, it's not even an element. It's a huge element of sauce. It's essentially
tomato
beans in some sauce.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I would add to that sauce. That's all I'm saying. Soph says Andre Marner in VAR. That means we're up against 12. Up against 12 anyway. Eugene says smash that like button now. Thank you very much. Music Man went for brown sauce on top of it.
It's controversial, but if that's what you like, then who am I to tell you otherwise? You know, your taste buds know
what they like,
what they're into. It's not something I would go for, but I'm not here to tell you.
No.
You know, not on food. No. It's not.
Captain Toffee says, how do you two think Jordan will handle the atmosphere? I remember a few years back when we were 2-0 up there and he saved the penalty. Second half they came back and his head fully went.
Yeah.
That was grim that day.
Yeah, it was 2-0 up, wasn't it? That day we were 2-0 up.
2-0 up with about 25 minutes left.
And we just felt a bit, didn't we? I mean, listen, what can you do? I mean, I've heard people say, take him out, and you know, the fella's an experienced goalkeeper. But I think what you see is what you get with Jordan Pickford. I think he's most of the time now, 90% of the time, maybe more, he's a very steady goalkeeper. He does have his moments, but then I often look at other goalkeepers and I just think, is there any goalkeeper out there certainly playing the Premier League who doesn't have moments that the look upon where the ball's gone through the fingers or miskicked or done something? Every keeper does something. Doesn't matter how good they are. So I just think that as long as I think he handles the pressure a lot better now. I think he knows how to deal with it, and he just has to make sure he does that tonight and doesn't add another thing. Like I look at Saturday and I go, he made a mistake. It's a mistake. There's nothing extra. You don't have to throw anything extra on it. He's made a mistake for the goal. There's no. You don't, because there's too much of this thing where it's like you see pundits from outside the club who obviously this who's the England #1 and all this, and they're looking for all these extra things. Like if I was a defender, with the way he shouts at them and all this, it's like 99% of the goalkeepers shout. The thing with the goal kicks on Saturday, the referee came over to him and Seamus, wasn't he? He hadn't even took a goal kick, and they were talking about him slowing. It's like. So there's all these extra things that people will jump on where they're not valid. They're just not valid. So let him get on with it. He's our number one, and if we start messing about with it, then what's the point?
Yeah. Mad. Did I say Gaz said, got to admit I'm nervous about tonight, feel we need a performance after the last 2 weeks, even if it's a draw. Johnny Hickey says they are a window ahead of us and look like a more settled side. I also think we started at a level below them because of our financial situation. It's a tough game and we'll be happy with a draw. Correct. Josh Oldfield said, tough game tonight, guys. I'm more optimistic than I was before Spurs. Do you reckon he will start James Garner tonight?
I don't know. I've put him in my team, but I don't know. But with 3 games in a week, he might see this as an opportunity to possibly just change things up a little bit. Because that's what, ultimately, again, that's what a squad's for. I know it's different this year because we do have a situation where we are going to have a break. But still, you've got to look at players, haven't you, and go, are you 100%? Is there someone else who could go in that role? And that might be for Seamus tonight, might be for a Disagana Gay, might look at it going, I want you for Saturday, but tonight it's a different challenge. So, I'll play these players, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Kev Robb says DCL, the new Duncan Ferguson. Discuss.
No, I don't think. I think Duncan Ferguson, when he signed, had injury problems that it took him different problems that due to his body, and it took a while to properly sort out. I think medical science is a little bit down the road from that now. There's obviously something going on with Dom, and has been going on for the last year or so, but without any sort of further information, it's hard to put your finger on what it is. So I wouldn't quite put them in the same bracket, because Dunk was more like he'd come back and then go out again, and then come back, play like 4 games and then go out again. Whereas Dom, there does seem to be almost like a consistent issue that he's had to deal with for the last year. I know there's different injuries, but he's never really come back and had a large amount of games and then get another injury. So it's hard to put your finger on exactly what is going on.
Yeah. Georgie Redmond says, I'm in Liverpool this Friday, but with the missus, what's the excuse? I can leave her in the hotel to come to the Premier night. Bring her with you. You can't leave her in a hotel. It's a bar. Bring her to the night. She'll be all right. She'll enjoy it and have a bevy. She's with you. She'll be fine. Yeah, Ned sing at some stage. She'll be fine.
It's when he gets up and starts walking around the room, though, and joining in and leaving her on her own and stuff.
When Georgie, I think you remember when Ned does.
No, not Ned. Well, I mean, if Ned starts walking around the room, maybe that's what we could do. Get Ned to start walking around the room with his guitar. Just
serenade.
Yeah, I think so.
Maya says, reckon Pickford will play, fellas. Would love to shut these up tonight. Yeah, I don't think Frank Lampard looks and goes, I'm not going to play Jordan Pickford, because he gets too wound up by the crowd. He played in the big game there when they beat us 3-1 in February, didn't he?
I've just seen that the Sugar Babes were trending in the UK. And I was like, they haven't added another thing, have they?
God,
and it's not, it's just basically people saying that the cabinet is now reminiscent of the Sugar Babes. It just keeps on changing its line up every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Liam Monroe says, great show, lads, as per. I honestly think apart from Tarkovsky, Cody, Garner, and 95% of the time Pickford, I want to see more from the rest of them tonight. Okay. Soph Gallagher says, apparently Southgate wants 55 players. It's been reported. If true,
sorry, what?
Must want a squad of 55.
You can't have a squad of 55. That's ridiculous.
Gordon needs to get his head down and start playing.
Gordon's not going to the World Cup.
No. Jerry Anderson says, hello lads, great to see the difference in your team with proper centre backs instead of Holgate and Keane. All the best for the season, Toffies. Thank you. Stuart Davis, very confident. Newcastle 5, Everton 0. Fair enough.
Clueless is more of the.
Jay says Ederson is a prime example of that. Played one of the best about, but easily 1 or 2 occasions in a game where he doesn't even know what he's gonna do. It
happens. It happens. They're human beings. They're not robots. They're gonna make mistakes. I think Frank Lampard was alluding to this yesterday, where it's like, I think he was more alluding to it as in terms of managers, but we do live in a massive blame culture now, where it's like, you did something wrong, so we're going to hammer you for days and days and days. And it's just like, people make mistakes. People in a game of football will make mistakes, you know, whether it's a goalkeeper or a striker missing chances or whatever. It does happen, and it happens to the best as well. So you have to I don't think you can just keep nailing people for like a couple of mistakes here or there. It will happen. Jordan Pickford will make mistakes. As much as he's improved, he will still make mistakes.
Yeah. Eugene says, I think Tom Davies will be in the starting lineup against Newcastle.
Funny enough, when I was doing my starting 11 yesterday, I was actually thinking Tom might if he leaves the Discana out, he might put Tom in as a more direct replacement.
I think.
But I put James Garner in.
I think Garner will just play himself. And if it's this guy never played, I think James Garner will play. Our Soul says, I think Garner Gay should be dropped tonight. Okay. Liam Monroe says 55 players and Trent still wouldn't make the squad.
I'm sure he would.
Tom says, for the price we have spent on our squad, is it outside the realms of possibility for us to have 11 super football androids?
Yeah. There aren't super football androids out there.
Yeah, just right now.
They're just not. They're not.
Just not happening at the moment,
No.
is it?
No.
Apple 2 says, what are your guys' takes on Jeff Shreves even? Ask some proper poor questions. Always, what would a win mean today? Or whatever it is. Have a rest, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some poor reporters out there. I seen people talking yesterday saying they didn't like Alistair McGowan. I think Alistair McGowan's one of the better ones because I think he asks questions that are a little bit more difficult than I see some of the. There's too many journalists or reporters that ask questions that have got either really obvious answers, and that's maybe what they're setting up, just obvious answers, or they won't ask difficult questions because they don't want to. They want to be pally. They're too pally with the person they're asking the question, so therefore they won't ask them a difficult question. I do like journalists who ask difficult questions because you get good answers if the manager can handle it. And Frank Lampard seems to be a fellow who doesn't get too upset when people ask him hard questions. I think that comes from a grounding of being at a club and playing in pressurised situations, and understanding that side of it. That he always sort of bats it back well, and that's good. That's what you want. That's what you want when there's. I heard one the other week. And he was asked, I think it was, not the other week, sorry. It was around the end of the window and they were asking him about, like, players. And he was like, he asked him the first one, he was like, you're not, so he was like, I'm not going to say any more. And he said, oh, I won't ask you about the rest. And I was like, no, ask him. You've got questions, ask him. Just because he didn't give you the answer you wanted the first time, it doesn't matter. You're there to report, and I find that poor, personally.
Fair dues. Kev Robb says on the last minute pens Rhino all day. Tom says maybe the low quality of journalism is the only reason we don't know about all of these androids just lying around in warehouses. Tom's on it. Chris says I think Tom's playing well this season and wouldn't complain if he started either.
Fair enough. Fair dues.
That's fair enough, isn't it? That's fair enough. Campbell says can't eat a cheese sandwich without brown sauce.
But cheese sandwich isn't beans on toast. I mean, they are completely two different things. And
just even the name of them tells you the difference.
Brown sauce on a cheese sandwich.
I've seen people,
Fair. No, I will not criticise.
I'd understand it more on cheese on toast because it's naturally hot. See, cheese sandwich is cold.
When you go for Worcester sauce on cheese on toast, is that not? Or is that just too far? Have I gone too far there?
No, Worcester sauce is nice. Like a nice
brown sauce on a bacon butty.
Brown sauce on a bacon
I think
although some people swear by that sauce.
Well, they do, but those people are criminally insane.
They're wrong, yeah. Mills says, all right, lads, great show. Do you know what the new rules on flares M/purus are? Pyros, I think it must be, but he spelt that wrong. Aladdin Wake was at the other side's match on Sunday. The City and his mate had a flare going. He got collared by the police and had the choice of arrested and caught or season ticket cancelled. He went for the latter. Is this across the league or club discretion?
That could be a game show, that.
You can be arrested and go to court, or you can give your season ticket up. Which one?
Yeah, basically they've got.
That's the new rules now,
powers, haven't they? Outside grounds, inside grounds. Now they've got new powers. I don't know how.
I don't think they can enforce them outside.
No,
really.
they can. They've changed it.
What about Everton last week?
That's what I was just about to say.
But inside, you're
outside,
you're in trouble.
Outside, you're out in trouble as well. But how do they enforce it when there's maybe a mob of people there? So they're obviously going to turn a blind eye. But they've changed the laws. They've changed. Listen, you live in a country where you can't even peacefully protest anymore without the fear of being arrested. So if you think you can hold up a flare in public nowadays and something's not going to happen to you, then I'm afraid you're living in La La Land.
Glenn says, talking of hard questions, which team was your favourite Daniel Amokachi goal against? A, QPR, B, Chelsea, C, Newcastle, D, Spurs. Well, Spurs is the correct answer, obviously.
Yeah, it's always the correct answer.
Got to Wembley off it, but important goals against all of them. But there's one against Chelsea, I think the one you mean, with the back to goal, and he just turned and smashed it in at the street end. That was a belter goal in a 3-3. Paul Furlong, 80-12 yards offside, laying in the 6-yard box, got up, Chelsea went down and crossed, he stayed there and just headed it in.
The orange and graphite kit.
Yeah. Everton had 3 home games in a week. 0-0 on the Saturday against Southampton, 3-3 with Chelsea, 0-0 with Wimbledon. Had to go to Ipswich to win, to stay up. But yeah, the correct answer, Glenn, and the only answer is D, Spurs. I hope you're clear enough on that one. Remember, if you're a Premier member and you want to chat to us, click the link.
Someone give us a call, man.
The link is in the description. You just click it there if you're a Premier member, and we can have a chat. It's what Dick L should have done, but he hasn't. He's just written his comment.
He's too scared, Dick L.
Wayne Lloyd says, why are some of our fans so obsessed with getting Davies in the team?
Because he's a decent player. Because he hasn't let us down once this season. Maybe they
are people obsessed, Wayne, with getting him in?
I don't think anyone's obsessed. I think people are just saying that if Garner Gay doesn't play tonight, that he might be a viable option because Garner Gay took the place off him, so maybe he should take it back. That's a viable option.
Dick L with his normal upbeat comments says, this time last year Newcastle were looking dead set for relegation. They spent over 200 million and have improved drastically.
Well, you will, won't you?
You have to give them credit. We spent double that and got worse. How have Newcastle made the improvement look so simple? Newcastle have won one more game than Everton this year, Dick. I could go into other stuff and say they spent money over time as well, and Everton haven't spent a lot of money in the last 3 transfer windows or 4 transfer windows. We could go through it, but there's no point because they've won one more game than Everton. Simon says cheese and jam sandwiches are the best.
No, that's
and
just
always brown sauce on bacon.
No, that's disgusting.
Cheese and jam.
No, that's
as in like. Hang on. Do you mean jam as in like a chili jam, or do you mean like strawberry jam or raspberry? No, you can't mean that.
He's probably one of these freaks that eats apples and cheese.
No, you see, they're all right. Apple and cheese cube is okay in small bursts. If you're getting
a big cube,
a sandwich and putting strawberry jam on it with cheese, no, come on, that can't be a real thing.
That's not a real thing. I refuse to believe that's a real thing.
No, I'm not having that. CD says Guy does a job in midfield that no one else in the squad does. We lack someone who will get on the ball, so I drop Onana for Ghana. Forgotten, Onana didn't start many games for Lille. Very raw. I think you need Onana though. See, I look at that midfield and I don't understand why people are trying to rip it up already.
No,
I honestly don't.
I just think I think when you've got 3 games in a week, I think it's important to maybe, for players who are 33, you might need to just have a little look at it and go, right, when do we need, can we get away with this? And also, I think James Garner will be looking to get a game at some point, and tonight might be the opportunity.
Yeah.
I
do think we need to have a look at James Garner.
I think
he does get on the ball.
Yeah, I think when you've got a squad that there's definitely a couple of players who are sort of sitting on the bench at the moment who probably could get in this side. I think if you've got to be willing to go, you know what, let's not flog these to death till... Because all that'll happen, we've done this for years. You flog players to death and then they go out the team and then or they pick up an injury. It's just like, if there's an opportunity to give them a rest, give them a rest. Now, that might be right for Seamus tonight only because he's only actually played the last 3 games for us. So it might be he might be fine. But then it's recovery time, isn't it, for someone like Seamus Come? Can he recover between the games? Just a Gay won't have played a lot of Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday games while he's been at PSG. He just won't have because of the quality of their squad. That will not have happened. He might have played Saturday, Wednesday or Saturday, but I don't think he would have played too many times, 3 times in a week. So if there's, an opportunity to get someone else in and it's not going to disturb the team too much, then let's see what happens.
Chris says, I don't do it anymore, but when I went with my dad, we used to go for chips and curry sauce before the game. Well, that's acceptable. Curry and chips is acceptable. I mean, you should have got the rice as well, but there you go. Tom says Davies has done well so far this season, and I don't think anyone can objectively say he wouldn't deserve a start as the number 6. Could Garner be used like Barry in the double pivot? Possibly, yeah. The Matty Boosh says, geez, I get grief for pineapple on pizza. Cheese and jam is just wrong. Kings.
I like pineapple on pizza, by the way. I think it's an alternative.
Kingsley says, anyone know how Andre and Gabamon are doing on loan?
I mean, on a Tuesday.
On Premier.
We do a loan roundup and also an ex-players roundup. We've started a little bit as well. How are people getting on? Like John Joe.
There you go.
Check it out.
Apple 2 says, okay, the cheese and jam is kind of extreme, but those party skewers with cheese and pineapple is a major league treat. There you go. Michael OB wants to go 4-4-2 at the back 4 of Cody, Tarks, Miko, Coleman, then Garner, Onana, Iwobi, Gordon, so Gray and McNeil can rest, and Maupai and Dom up front. So who's he left out? He's left Guy out. And James Garner on the right. Interesting. Will says our attack is the problem. We keep defending well for most of the game, but as soon as we get near the opposition's box, we don't have a clue. A winger and a striker needed in January, absolutely. Chris says we did go for Rice as well, to be fair. Well, don't miss it out then, Chris. And then I wouldn't have to say throw Rice in as well. Campbell says Toffee TV Premier is the place to be, guys. Don't put it off any longer. Thank you, Campbell. Thank you. Kingsley says, okay, thanks, I'll check it out. Good man.
And if you do become a Toffee TV Premier member in the next, say, 2 days, there are tickets available for our night on Friday. With Dave Watson will be there, and it's free to any Toffee TV Premier members. So you become a member tonight, and Dave, you could be there on Friday meeting everybody else. Two tickets free for every person.
There you go. Reece says, gutted first game missing this season. Road closures, getting out of Lincolnshire. Oh, Lincolnshire, that is a nightmare. Jake says red and brown sauce on bacon butties, lads. Red and brown?
Red and brown.
You are wild, Jake. Wild is what you are. Simon says strawberry jam. Try it. Open your mind. No. Mine's fine, Si. No. Listen, Simon, if you like it, fine. Fine. Just don't try to push your weird cheese jam mix on me.
Just sounds freakish.
Richie Gilbertson says Marmite on a mature cheddar sandwich. It'll change your life, bro.
I don't like Marmite for a start, so I'm not going to get involved in that game.
No.
Are any of these things, can you do any of these things in a air fryer?
You know what? You probably can.
Fair play. Because if you can, then maybe I'll get involved.
Glenn says, Ped and Baz, how much stronger is your strongest foot? Assuming you both have a weaker and stronger foot.
Do have a weaker.
Can you be a viable player in the Prem with only one leg? Not literally. And is it true or false? Ned has 2 weak footballing feet.
I'm not going to throw Ned under the bus.
No.
Those days are over. No, but I have a very particularly weak left foot. Yeah, it's weird. Isn't it just weird? Like, you can just, even when you put your foot down, you just know it's weaker. Like, you can just feel it all the way through your leg that it's just not as strong. Like, one leg just feels right.
Dominance.
And the other one just feels weird. And it's just like, how did we like evolve that way. But yeah, my left foot is particularly weak, and I don't believe that. I honestly, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular here, but I just genuinely don't believe you can be a decent Premier League player if you're so one-footed. I just don't. I think it skews.
It's neglect.
It just skews your whole game. It just means it just means if the ball falls on that left foot or that right foot, that what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah.
Right, we've got Richie on the line for our first call.
Sad.
Richie, are you there?
Hello?
Hello, mate.
Are you okay?
Go on, Rich. What's your
mate.
comment, mate?
Yeah, just one about your earlier show about the protecting the 14.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one is whether you're going to do a Q&A on Friday like you do with the club call. So the first question is...
Go on, mate.
I've seen a documentary about...
Richie's gone. Oh, the internet.
Oh. Richie,
Gonna be quiet, Rich.
you seen a documentary about
Seen a
something?
documentary about something? I'm sitting here now, and wondering, is it polar bears? Is it melting ice caps? Oh,
I'm sure he'll
we got Astro. Get Astro on.
Okay.
Let's not leave people hanging.
No.
We've got Astro. Oh, there he is. See, how come? Right, this is what's mad about the world, isn't it? Astro is on the east coast of America, and he's come through all perfect. Right. He's come through all perfectly fine. Richie is probably about 10 minutes down the road, and it's like he's on the moon.
Yeah.
You gotta have them technological advances. You know what I'm saying? I listen, but I'm standing here talking to you. I'll be gone. Like the crickets or something will go off or something. Like something will happen. You know what I mean? Russian satellites gonna get a hold of my signal and hijack it. You know what I mean? Gonna disrupt Radio Free Georgia going on over here. Listen, I just wanted to say something y'all brought up this morning. You were talking about how the youngins, right, be playing in these matches where they're not getting a lot of tackles and things like that. It comes down to being qualified versus proficient. Okay, they're qualified to be professional footballers, right? But they're not proficient in the way the Premier League is conducted, right? They're not proficient in the speed and the pace of things. They're not proficient, right? So I totally want to know, how would you, like Pat, how would you and Baz suggest that we bridge that gap between qualification and Premier League proficiency for these youngins? Because we're gonna need some help. I feel like all hands have to be on deck before the season's over.
I mean, I think two things we've always advocated for is obviously good low moves when they're young, so that they're playing at a good level. And I think Everton have started to do that a lot better, and most of our players who are on loan are playing. There's only really one who's not playing, isn't there? The other one would be, well, there's probably two other. There would be radically changing the under 21s system and going back to the old style of things where it was a reserve league where, you know, younger players and senior players played together in a more competitive league and a little bit more physical. And then the other one, and I think this is the one that we've spoke about probably a lot, is having a club, the club owning another club, or the owner owning another club, and having somewhat where that you could send players and know that they're going to play every week and they're going to play in a system similar to what Everton are playing, and bring them through that way. But it's just not the under 21s. It's just not physical enough. And even last night, I was watching some of that game last night, like we said earlier, and it just wasn't physical. There's just like you're not preparing these players to play in the Premier League, one of the toughest leagues in the world. You're just not preparing them. So obviously, you know, you've got someone like Anyango playing on loan at the moment. He looked great when he played for under 21s. He was bigger than everyone else, a bit more physical than everyone else, and now he's playing, or he's at a level where There'll be a lot of big fellas, a lot of physical games, and he's obviously not playing because it doesn't really. He just isn't ready for that level physically.
Played 90 minutes last night in the Papa John's.
The Papa John's.
I don't know whether he's been injured because he's.
No, but he hasn't
even
been playing.
In the squad, but he's been subbed.
He hasn't been playing, and I know they've had a change of manager, but you want somewhere like Warrington. Warrington's obviously gone to Fleetwood, and he is playing every game, and he bet you
in the squad last night.
But you've seen him benefit from him playing last season for Tranmere, and you've seen him play this year, and that's the only way. Maybe Stanley Mills has to be the next one who goes on loan, but players have got to play, and that's the only way. It's like anything, innit? You practice them for, if you're a musician or something, you practice at a good level. Anything, any sport, you go in the old simulator to fly planes, Astro.
Hey,
and
listen, you train like you're gonna fight, baby. You train like you're gonna fight.
Well, it's a little bit.
That's the honest way you do it.
That's literal for you though. So that's that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not though. Like, see, like it's so funny, right? Because like there's things that I used to do with my job, right? Where like we would do like these airdrops, right? Like, and we would actually go out and we had training loads where we would drop like 2 platforms tethered together. They're actual platforms. We're gonna rig them up and they're gonna extract out of the airplane, and then we're gonna use the targeting software to make sure it lands right in the smack middle of the drop zone. But we're not dropping an actual Humvee. It's just like a slab of concrete on a platform, right? But you train like you're going to fight because the action is the same and the speed is the same. You're just substituting what you're delivering. And I think that like I was listening to Baz like earlier talking. He was talking about on the Daily Live Extra this morning, where he was referring to training with basically the best team in Europe in the '80s when he was at Everton. And with him talking about the players that he was playing against being like 3 moves ahead of you, like Baz, you were saying, like the guys were just that far ahead of you. How do we bridge that gap? Like, is it getting them more action with the first team? Like I don't know. How do we give these kids a leg up? Because I feel like we're gonna need some help before the season's over.
The problem you've got is the time, and I'm talking about players there was reserve games for a start, so a lot of first team players would play in reserve games, because if you're not playing with the first team, you're not playing a game. It is slightly different now, because when I was a kid, the reserve games would be at Goodison when the first team are away, so it'd be at 2 o'clock kickoff or whatever it may be. So obviously there's a little issue there, but it could be in midweek. But the players who weren't playing would want to play in them games. I just don't think there's enough of that. I think the problem you've got now is if you're a international footballer and you're not in your first team, is the desire there from them to say, I want to play in that game on Monday night or Tuesday because I want games? Now, some players might go, I want to play in that game because I need games, and I think it's really important for centre forwards, actually. And I do this with goalkeepers as well. Them 2 positions for me are really, really vital to getting touches on the ball. So if you're a goalkeeper, if you're Begovic, for argument's sake, I'd want to be playing in some of those under-21 games, just so I wasn't going months and months without a game.
Getting game action,
exactly.
Like game speed.
And if I was if I was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'd want to be playing in the under-21s. Now, that might be a big risk, or if I was Salomon Rondon, I'd be like, listen, I'm not being funny. Every other week, can I play for the 21s? If I'm not starting on a Saturday. Now, the club might go, and Frank Lampard might turn around, just using Everton for argument's sake, might turn around and go, it's a bit risky though, say you get injured, we need you. I kind of get it, but I just think for rhythm of these players, it's great going. He's trained every day this week for an hour. No problem. Training in a game of football and having shots on the edge of the box with no real pressure on you. It's it's rhythm. You're hitting the ball, but there's no pressure. And then that's from an experienced player's point of view. Play games, score a few goals. I feel like I'm back up to speed. The lads who you're benefiting by playing with. So you've got Stanley Mills, and just say for argument's sake, Everton were playing a game and next week, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's starting because he wants to play in this game, and you've got James Garner in midfield as well, because he's not really played games yet. You're in that team with 2 first-team players, and you're thinking, right, can I get balls into Dominic Calvert-Lewin? What does he do? And James Garner is next to me in midfield. How does he play the game? Players learn, and then if you're the opposition, you're going into tackles with a pro who knows what he's doing, and it just makes them realise what the gap is. If you're playing against lads your age all the time, and don't forget, Astro, a lot of these kids have come through the same time, playing against each other for 5, 6, 7 years.
That's right, yeah.
You know?
And they're used to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're used to each other, and they understand. It's what it is, right? And this is what fascinates me. Like the theme for today is fine margins, right? Like you were talking about how Reece Welch, when he plays in these under-21 games, he looks like such a solid center back. But when you see...
And the Russians have got him.
They've got him.
They've got him.
Georgia, BBC Georgia or whatever it was.
The Russians have got him.
Radio Georgia.
Yeah.
Free
Georgia. Yeah.
Gone. God bless America.
There we go.
Oh, wait.
Is he gone, Ned? Oh,
okay, I think what he was going to say was what I was talking about today with Reece Welch, just to give it context for people who didn't see it, was that he's looked like a thoroughbred in our under-21s. It's easy for him. He's a big lad. He's good on the ball. And then when he played against Fleetwood, against hardened pros, they give him a little bit of it. He still did well, but it was a lot more uncomfortable for him because these are lads who know the game, they're physical. The people are putting tackles in on him that he's not really getting into 21 level. And it does make you go, well, this is a little bit different, this. The more he does that and plays in those games, which is the loans, what you're talking about, the more that readies you for first-team football. Some sink, some swim. That's the nature of football.
That's it.
Isn't it?
But you've got to get up to that level, haven't you, in the first place, to know. Richie, who the call dropped out, said he just basically wanted to discuss that Perez wants to play Super League at weekends to grab mass TV audience so it will destroy Premier League television.
Yeah, of course he does, because if you've got something that everybody, again, this is something we were discussing today on Toffee TV Premier, the European Super League. If you've got someone, and Florentino Perez wants that, that's his thing, that's his next. He's done the stuff with Real Madrid, and we've both seen the Figo doc, and when he wanted that Real Madrid presidency, he got it.
Yeah.
And he'll get this Super League, because it's his thing, this is his legacy. They'll want all the money. Sharing it with the Premier League ain't on the agenda for those people. They'll go, no. If we take Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea, maybe Man City will go, obviously, because of who they are, and obviously Tottenham are in that mix now as well. If we take them, they're big viewing figures then, which means advertisers will give us the money, so that'll go into the pot, and then you throw in Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Barcelona, Juventus, and then all of a sudden you've got the creme de la creme in terms of viewing figures. Paris Saint-Germain, all the money goes to them. That's his thing. Then it's divvied out. They don't care about the Premier League.
No, but I still think that the Premier League teams will want to cling on to the Premier League because
not if they can't if the game's at the weekend.
No, but you know what they're like. They want everything. These people want everything. They want they want the cake and they want to eat. Especially you're coming from 2 different kinds of places as well. You've got the traditional football people who are distraught that their leagues are being left behind. No, it was mad, right? It was the Classico on Saturday. You wouldn't remember when the Classico was huge and it was like everyone would be talking about it. Real Madrid versus Barcelona would be on whoever, Sky would have it or whoever. It was on at the weekend, and in terms of media attention, it had zero.
So Sky have lost it,
but it had zero attention. No one.
Here it didn't, but it did it in Spain.
No, in Spain, of course, it's going to have it in Spain.
But that's just because of Sky.
But that's the point, isn't it? If you're going to have a league that has to be outside its own country, it needs to be talked about everywhere, and it wasn't. So he's coming from a point of view of we need to be the only thing anyone talks about, whereas the American owners certainly in this country are going, well, no, we the Premier League is amazing. You've got Ted Bowley talking about the All-Star game, which now they apparently just talk that they want to move the Community Shield or get rid of the Community Shield or do something with it. So those ideas are starting to seep through. So they'll want they come from 2 different places. They want their cake and eat it. Have we got Astro back or no? He said never mind yet.
Okay, never mind yet.
in Manchester.
That's so busy.
So they're coming from two different places, aren't they? They'll see. He looks at it and goes, La Liga's dead, or the people at Juventus will go, Serie A's dead. Whereas the owners of Liverpool and Manchester United and Chelsea are going, the Premier League's not dead. In fact, the Premier League's never been bigger. And we can have this other thing as well.
I don't think they can have the both. But Dick L says Ibrahima, Bakayoko, Brian McBride or Michael Branch. I'm guessing he said pick one of them three.
Say that again.
Bakayoko, McBride or Branch. McBride for me.
McBride, yeah.
Out the three.
Have we got Astro back? Why don't you say
I'm
that
back.
rather than putting something stupid on the screen? Honest to God.
Yeah,
They-
back up. Can you hear
He's
me?
back.
You're
We've got
back,
him.
you're
We've got him.
Yep.
Apparently someone had infiltrated your signal, but now you're back.
Yeah. No, mate, my phone overheated. I was sitting in my car and I had it propped up on the dash and it overheated. I mean, it's still kind of, it's bloody warm.
What kind of phone? What kind of phone is it?
It's an iPhone.
Yeah, classic iPhone. Yeah, classic
it's an
iPhone.
iPhones are class.
Doesn't happen with the
iPhones are class. How hot is it there, Astro?
What's that?
How warm is it in Georgia?
Mate, today it's 13 degrees right now.
I don't.
Well, yeah, that's in realsies. That's in Celsius.
Okay.
But no, like Fahrenheit, it'll be like it's like in the low 70s. But yeah, it's still nice.
Lovely.
Weather's still dead nice.
Lovely.
But yeah,
Go on, mate.
no, I was just saying with fine margins, like you were talking about with Reece Welch, like he looks boss when he's playing in these under 21 games. But when he has to face, like you said, a Premier League striker or a championship level striker who's going to get stuck into him and kind of boss him around a little bit, you kind of see that he's got room to improve and he's got room to grow. And you were also saying, like, it's like keeping your hands warm, keeping your feet warm, for a striker. Like I back in a previous life, I played a lot of golf, and your short game was the first thing to go because it's the finest margin, right?
Yeah.
So for a striker who has to make the finest moves, and you playing up front would know this better than anybody else, the small things that you do as a striker can make the biggest difference. And whether you hit the ball true and put it in the back of the net, or you end up putting it over the top of the park end. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The margins are very fine. So you would think that you would want those players like strikers, like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, like Rondon, and even Begovic to get more playing time. I think the lack of squad depth and the fact that we don't have adequate cover up front is maybe why we haven't seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting time with the under-21s to kind of get himself up to match speed. And I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to address that in the January transfer window. I know that's like the worst time to buy, but we really do need some help up front. And I hope that I have belief for the first time in a long time that we have the recruitment moving in the right direction. And if we were ever going to make an attacking purchase in a winter transfer window, I think that we've got the tools in place to get the right pick and not get our pants pulled down over the price. And I just want to say one last thing before I leave you, because I'm pretty sure you guys have loads more to say, and there's many other people that want to talk. Two things. One, I think we're going to turn Newcastle over tonight. Fog on the Tyne's going to lift, and we're going to get some points. The next thing I'm going to say is that if you're not on premium and you're not getting access to all of this boss content, get on it, doggone it.
There you go.
Get the bob out your pocket, get the donation made, and get to enjoying this content. 'Cause I'm telling you.
I wouldn't say it was a donation. I wouldn't say it was a donation. You're getting something for the book.
A contribution.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you got to listen. I'm telling you, right? Like I am grateful that I have the opportunity to get this content because it's the best Everton content that I can get, and it keeps me connected to the club, even half the world away. So if you're not on it, get on.
There you go.
Every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Toffee TV.
We have Sundays.
Sorry.
We have Sundays off, but
Thank you very much, Astro. Top
twice most days, just not on Sundays. That's the irony. Oh, that's a nice one, Astro.
Cheers, Astro.
You're
Look
a
after
star.
yourself, mate. Take
Yes,
care.
you guys be great.
See you later.
See you. Ta-ra, mate. Ta-ra.
Just going back to what Sophie said before about the England squad, the 55-man England squad, it is actually a requirement. It is not an arbitrary number. You have to put in a 55-man squad apparently, and then you whittle it down. That's an actual.
No, that's what I was going to say. Whittling. So Anthony Gordon might be in the 55. He said.
That's an actual. That's an actual FIFA thing.
Okay, sounds. King Crockett says if we get either Gakpo, Kudus, or Mudryk in January, we'll finish top 10. Alan Hill says I'll be at the match Saturday with Dad on. Still a season ticket holder. He's 95 in November. Outstanding. He's in Upper Gladys Street.
Fair play.
Wow, Upper Gladys Street, row A, GS3 112, and him and his famous flask is right. Totally Mental Gaming says you two should be linked to the club. They should listen to you both, I swear.
I wouldn't listen to me.
Thank you very much. Claire Campbell says, are we optimistic about tonight, lads? I don't know about optimistic, but it's not Man City. So we can get a result here. Absolutely. It'll be difficult. They're playing well. They're a tough side. It'll be difficult, but let's see.
It will be difficult. Just let me point something out here as well, just before we get our next caller. If you are thinking of calling, or you're thinking of wanting to come over to Premier to call, you're not. It's not a phone. You're not ringing via your phone. You're ringing through the internet. So it's free. The call is free.
Yeah, it's not a...
Astro didn't actually ring us there from Georgia. He used the
link.
Like a version of like Skype, effectively, that we use to get us online. So if you want to give us a call, you're not gonna be charged other than your internet number. Right, we've got Dev.
Hey, what's up, boys?
That's right.
Let's get him on.
Let's go.
Get him on. Dev, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Go on, we can hear you, mate.
Awesome. Astro just fired me up. I feel like going to the gym now. I'm ready to tear up Newcastle. Hey, Baz, where did I feel like you got beef with Newcastle fans. What's up with that?
No, they're all right.
Did you? It's just lies.
I don't know.
No. Let's have it right. On social media a few years ago, it felt as though they decided that Everton were their rivals. I'm talking small amounts, quite obviously. There'll be Newcastle fans who'll be like, what? You won't have a clue what's what. But there was some on social media, and they just started to wind me up because they sounded like cop-outs, really. But for no reason. It was like Everton with a tie, and I couldn't get my head around it. It might have been born out of Jordan Pickford stuff, to be fair. He's our goalie, they don't like him. I don't know. But I do feel that there has been a bit of a change. I feel like they're just getting on with it. There was always a thing with some of them of like, wow, we're massive, we're this, we're that. And it was like, are you? You've never done anything in my life, so you're not a big, like that way. Yeah. But now I feel like there has been a bit of a change, I think. It might come back once they start.
Well, I think it has come back since the takeover.
Well,
since the takeover, they're very, very mouthy.
I'm very like on social media. Hardly ever. No, I can't stand any football fans really on social media because it skewers it all. So that's where it came from.
Yeah. No, I think they did settle down for a while because they realised that they were utterly crap. But I think in recent times, since the money's come, they now suddenly think full of their own self-importance.
I wanted Newcastle to win the league back in the 90s when they were going with Keegan, when they were up against United and all that, because they were that year they were amazing.
I'll be honest, I've never wanted to.
No, but at that time I was thinking they were playing great football, and I was like, these are playing. It was in my days when I was less bitter.
I'm not even bitter, I just never wanted them to win anything.
But it really was born out of some stuff on social media. And I just kept seeing it, and it was like, why are we always getting brought into this argument when we're just getting on with our
I do think some of our fans
are
stupid enough though to play into it though and get involved. There are some who do make it worse. When they do
because they start doing other stuff, and then obviously people will always protect their own club. Anyway, that's where some of that stuff come from.
Still there?
That okay?
Are you still there? Hello?
No. Maybe I've just satisfied Dev's curiosity.
Maybe
that was it.
Maybe you've just satisfied him. Well, why isn't he talking? Dev, come on, where are you?
Okay. Is he back?
No.
Is
he talking?
He's not here for us.
There for
so
Ned.
there you go.
That's all you need to know. Okay, kick him out, Ned.
Geordie Tune for Life says, lads, do you think the PL are trying to stop, like Premier League, are trying to stop away fans going to matches, daft kick-off changes, changing fixes at the last minutes? What I would say, mate, is that I don't think they're trying to stop away fans going. They just don't. They simply don't care. They just do not care because, it's like for, you all lads, like you're playing away wherever at the weekend, say. And the Premier League you know, oh, this will be a good fixture for us to play at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night because it'll be people will be there. They're not bothered about whether that's going to affect you because that'd just be 3,000 Newcastle fans. Oh well, or 2,000, whatever it is, going. Oh well, we're playing to this audience. They simply couldn't care less about anyone.
It's not only just them as either. It's the rail companies are pathetic. Like I know the rail company cancelled some trains on Saturday night. They don't care. They just don't care. Like when there's a cup final, when there's a semi-final, there's like the last train leaves at this time. It's like, why can't we live in a civilized country where people just talk to each other? Right, we've got this, because I guarantee if it was something to do with like, I don't know, like the stuff we've had with the royal family over the last few months, or we've got something going on, I guarantee that the rail companies will have been spoken to by the
Is that Dev? Is he back?
No, by whoever, whether it be the police or whatever, they would speak to them and go, right, we need extra trains, or we need this, or we need that. I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Like if you go to Aintree for the Grand National, Merseyrail puts on loads more trains. You know, they put loads more trains in, and it's just a case of getting people from Liverpool to Aintree and back to Liverpool as fast as you can.
Yeah,
it's just a basic thing. So if you've got games of football going on, why aren't people talking to you going, right, there's people want to travel to, people will be travelling. The problem is we are, as football fans, we are treated like third class citizens, even though we're paying lots of money to go, to the game, or buying a ticket or whatever. You can't have a drink at your seat, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. That people who follow other sports, rugby and stuff, are allowed to do. And people might go, well, yeah, because this happens or that happens. Okay, well, like you do, of course, you get like the one-off things. But I tell you what, there's a lot of one-off things that go on in these, like the rugby union and all that, or the cricket. Some of the stuff you see at the cricket, people just allowed to drink all day, all day, and then end up on the floor and all kinds. We are third-class citizens as far in this country, and that needs to start changing in terms of football, because it is the lifeblood of the country. It is absolutely the biggest sport. The money the Premier League brings into this country, and yet as football fans, we'll put you on. Like, it's bad enough that they'll go, okay, Newcastle. Sky would happily go, Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Okay, 1:15 kickoff on a Saturday, and you're like, that's mad. But then they'll go, but we'll sort the trains out or whatever. No, it's just that's it. Find your own way there, and that needs to change.
Done it with cup finals, haven't
you? Yeah, exactly.
Done it with cup finals. The last trains, the game's still going on. The last train back to the north. Oh well, sorry.
Yeah, find your own way, and then they wonder why people are getting buses, and then there might be trouble at service stations or whatever. It's nonsense. Right, we've got Hayden on the line. Hayden, are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Go on, mate. Yeah, go on.
Hello.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Yeah, not too
bad.
All
good.
Hey, good stuff. So, yeah, just to build off what you were saying about the Super League, as a true full-blown Canadian here, I'm going to say fuck the top six. Get them out of here. Get them to the Super League. I can't stand watching them. Can't stand the bias towards them in the refereeing and the league rules and all the fines. It's just absolutely sickening. So get them out of there. And, sorry, I'm out of breath and like crazy. Walking the dog here, and I'm a heavy dude, horribly out of shape. And Canadian winter is actually starting to hit in now pretty hardcore, so bear with me. But so what would you guys think about, because I think the VAR system right now is an absolute joke. I think having referees have to correct referee decisions is absolutely ridiculous. So what would you guys think of the league implementing a challenge system like the NFL or the MLB have, where it's up to the coaches to challenge the referees' decisions, and obviously the league wouldn't want it, the refs wouldn't want it, but then it would just kind of put more of a spotlight on it where referees are going to protect other referees from their bad calls, basically.
I'm all in favour of challenges, to be honest, Hayden. As long as it's not, obviously, we can't be having challenges as many as you want, but like the way tennis is.
Like free a game or something kind of.
Yeah, something like that. Because I think it's too easy to skate over the fact that decisions have got, like, let's say Harry Kane's penalty at the weekend. Let's say Frank Lampard wasn't happy with it. Now that never, Tierney never went and had a look whether it was a penalty or not. Right now, Frank Lampard could have turned around and gone, "I want to put a challenge in for that." The referee has to go and look at it. Now the referee might go and look at it and go, "Yeah, it's a penalty," but at least he's gone and had a look at it.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at there. Where
exactly.
It's not up to the referee's discretion to go and take a look at it. At least the coach can say, hey, go have a look at the video. And whether you overturn or not, that's out of our control. But at least you are taking a look at it. Because we don't seem to get those calls at all. Whereas if that penalty is at the other end, I guarantee, and every Evertonian knows, that is getting reviewed.
Without a shadow.
There's no doubt at all.
Well, I can give you the better example than the Kane one. The Kane one was, but in the derby at Goodison this season, 5 minutes from the end, Dwight McNeil has a shot. James Milner puts his elbow up, hits his elbow, loops into the air, and Alisson makes a brilliant save from it, but it was a penalty. He hasn't put his hand by his face, his hand's out to the side, it hits him. It's a penalty, but no one done anything about it. No one made a fuss. They didn't stop it to have a look at it. They just went out a corner. Now, if I'm on the Everton bench and we've got a challenge left, I'm saying to the referee, I'm throwing my challenge in. Go and have a look at that. And they might go, well, let's have a look again. Oh, that is a penalty. He's got his arm up. Rather than, no one said anything. It must have just hit him on the head. When it's as clear as day. And you'll see this in some games where the game just moves on quickly because no one's made a big fuss over it. And then they go, oh, did these have a case for a penalty here? Or was that a late challenge there that nobody's seen? Because the game's moved that quick and there hasn't been a big furore about it, it's almost like no one's seen. Quick, carry on. And I think if you've got a couple of challenges, 2, maybe 3 a game, then at least you would feel like, well, I've made the referee look at it. He might still give his original decision, but at least we've made him have another look at it. So I agree with you.
Right? It won't just be glossed over like it always is. And you guys say all the time, if that was in a Liverpool City game and those decisions happen, they'd be talking about it for a week. At least this way, if you challenge it and it's overturned, it gives some people something to talk about, about, why didn't they overturn it? It was like play was stopped. All the attention's on it. The ref has looked at the screen. What is going on here? Rather than just kind of glossing over it like it never happened.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the Ped was talking about nothing to do with Everton, the Leeds Arsenal game on Sunday, and Leeds got a penalty, and when you look back, there's a clear offside in it. It's like the kid's miles offside. Sinister, whoever it is, I can't remember who gets it, but he's offside, and that's just ignored. And the next minute, Leeds are awarded a penalty, and the kid misses it. But if you were Mikel Arteta on the line, and your people are there, whoever you've got, they go, he's miles off, and you say to the fourth official, we're putting a challenge in. The fella's miles offside here when he gets the ball. And then they go, why is he appealing? Like, what's the appeal gone in for? They want to know if he's offside. VAR all of a sudden might... And I know that this will change once they use the digital one, but right now it isn't. And therefore they go, offside? Oh, yeah, he is offside. Because they might be looking at... And this is another bugbear of mine, Hayden, is that the cameras they use, 3 angles, when a television company has 20 angles. They only have 3 and go, we haven't got the right angle. And you go, well, Sky have, mate. Just have a look at that because it's clear as day there. That's nonsense as well for me.
It is, and it just kind of leads into more possible corruption, And even if it's not corrupt, I totally believe that it is corrupt. But even if it's not, it just gives everyone more food for thought about, okay, why aren't they using these camera angles if you clearly have them, Especially
Absolutely.
When decisions go in favor of these big 6 clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, and like I said, this isn't just Everton, because the biggest injustice I can remember in recent times was City getting knocked out in the Champions League by Spurs when Fernando Llorente basically elbowed the ball in. And when they looked at the VAR angle, they couldn't get a clear picture of it, yet the TV had 3 clear pictures where the ball is here on his elbow. It's literally, you can see it's his arm and gone in. And City went out, and that was, it was an amazing game. But City ended up going out of a game they were in control of, and just little things like that where you go, how can you not have the right angle? We had it with Tierney last year, and Liverpool fans who thought it was funny at the time were ruining it at the end of the season when Rodri handballs you. Now VAR didn't have a clear angle, apparently, even though they did. But Sky did. Sky had loads where he could see him controlling it. So, you know, it's like that. And there'll be lots of fans from other clubs who go, oh, God, we had this one in this game the other week and you couldn't. I can't remember one. But that should never be the case. If you've brought technology in, it's supposed to help the game. And if you can see something, you can't then go, oh, no, but our cameras didn't show that. You can't have that. You can't have it.
Exactly. It just ends up sounding like bullshit in the end. You know, like you can't believe that.
For hype, yeah.
And they don't have a fucking camera angle. Come on, like absolutely get real. And sorry if I'm swearing to all your young listeners out there. This is a premier call after all. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. Let you
cheers, Hayden.
But keep up the good work, guys. Keep doing what you're doing, and
cheers.
up these fucking Blues. We gotta win today.
Cheers, Hayden. Take care. Bye.
Apologies.
Yeah, apologise.
Apologies if you were offended by any Canadians.
Hayden's blue language there. But there you go. But he is right. Some of it is just berserk. John Crellin says there's a lot of debate about whether or not our young strikers will ever be good enough to play in the Premier League. And for me, I just don't understand why putting Rondon on for the last 5 or 10 minutes, who has absolutely no future at the club, does absolutely nothing whatsoever. When he does go on, is a better option than sticking a Tom Cannon or another youngster to see what he can do. Even if he just chases around for a while, we may just get a surprise. Personally, I reckon out of Broadhead, Sims, Dobbin and Cannon has a real chance if he continues to improve. Is there an argument for that of, you know, Rondon's not really giving us anything, but a young player might just give us at least that enthusiasm with 5 or 10 minutes left that might cause an issue?
No, I don't think so. I think because the problem with that is that you only have a certain amount of people you can have in your squad, and you've got to fill the positions that you think. What if we decide that we're giving, I don't know, someone Tom Cannon, right? And in the first 10 minutes, our centre forward gets injured, and then after 20 minutes, our other centre forward gets injured, the one we replace him with, and then Tom Cannon has to come on. Is he really good enough to play 70 minutes in the Premier League? The answer to that is no. Let me just fill that in for you. Remember when Nathan Broadhead came on against Brighton? Remember that? He
wasn't on for long.
But he was just there was no. It was like he'd come on in a charity game. There's a level that you have to be at, and I think this idea of saying, well, we'll just look at Dobbin. You know, a lot of people thought Dobbin could have been the answer last season, but he wasn't, and they stuck him on loan for a reason. I think you are looking at it and thinking, oh, he can come on for the last 5 minutes if you're getting beaten. It's like, well, yeah, but what if he has to come on for the last 45 minutes of the game? You know, that you only get so many plays in the squad. You only get so many plays as sub. So you have to be careful with that.
Dick says fans don't give youngsters a chance. Tom, John Joe, Dom and now Anthony Gordon all come in for a huge amount of stick, which I feel is unjust. Kids will have good form and bad form while they're learning. Fans have no patience with these kids, and I think the fans' stick leaves a mark which stains their development.
John Joe is rubbish.
Okay.
Sorry to break it to you, Dick.
Richard says, afternoon, gentlemen, and Ned, if the Super League does end up going ahead, there's not a chance that Newcastle get left out with their ownership. So does that mean one team drops out, and that would obviously be Spurs? Or would they expand it to possibly 7 or 8?
Why would, I mean, again...
Well, if they're taking 6, who's not getting in? If Newcastle did, I think his point is...
Newcastle could be about to get, you know, a huge financial windfall from the stadium naming rights and things like that. I mean, they're in the Champions League. Why?
Spurs, you mean?
Sorry, who did I say?
Newcastle.
Sorry, Spurs are...
And I think what he's saying is if there was 6...
But why does that...
No, but just listen. If there was 6 and Newcastle were in it, right?
But why would Newcastle be in it?
Because of the wealth, he's saying, right? But just say they were. Who out of those 6 would be the most likely?
No, none of the 6 would drop out from Newcastle.
Okay.
None of them, not one of them.
Okay, well, that's it. That was all he was saying. Andy says Mill's goal was actually a joke. Looks like they found the goalkeeper in the stands.
I think so. Right, we've got Pat on the line. Pat, are you there?
Yep.
Yay. Hey. Go on, mate.
So, wasn't there a rule originally in the Premier League? I know, at least in the first division, that national entities couldn't be part of ownership or of like first division or English pyramid teams. Wasn't that a rule, and then they took it away or something? I can't remember if I heard that somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure if that was a rule that they then removed, which allowed like Qatar and the Saudis and everyone to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, the rule is that you're not really supposed to be like owned by a sovereign state, and that is a rule. But I mean, Newcastle, everybody knows who they're owned by, but the paperwork went in as being owned by a derivative, and our governments are just weak as piss and let them steam in. I mean, it's come out here. No one ever thought Newcastle could be taken over by these people, but it's come out since that basically the governments basically wanted it because they want the investments, because they're the people who buy all the nice shiny weapons off them. So that was listen, people with money can do anything they want. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. Is they can do anything they want. I mean, that's just the world we live in. That pretense has sort of been eradicated in the last 10 years, hasn't it? People with money can now do anything they want. Anything. You know, you can do anything now. So I wouldn't be holding my breath or, you know, worrying about, like, countries taking over football teams.
Yeah, that's true, I guess, as well. About the refereeing, though, I'm more come down the side that it's probably an unconscious bias or them just being real shit. That's always a possibility. But I do like the idea of challenges, mainly because, and you can do it like the NFL does, where it's like, if you don't want to do 3, you could say, okay, you win 2 and you get those 2 right, you get a third, or you get 1, everyone gets 1, and if you win that, you get a second. However you want to do it, you can figure out a number. That's not that hard.
Yeah.
But it also forces referees to look at things they wouldn't otherwise do, and also the play has to stop, because there could be times where like 3 penalties happen during a break of play for VAR, and they go down to the other end. The other team goes down to the other end, and they could get a penalty or a foul, or the ball could go over the line, or a handball, or something. And you could have 2 or 3 calls back to back, and only one of them, I guess, would be reviewed. I think if you're going to do it, just stop the play as soon as whatever team's attack is over. And the second the ball's not moving forward, go to the VAR review. They already have the way to reset play with a live ball drop.
See, what I like about it, and again, I'll go back to Sundays. So I mean, I've never really been big on the challenges, but what I would say is, though, and I think this has reared its head twice this season for me anyway, the Newcastle Palace game and the game against Arsenal Leeds on Sunday is, I think both in those games, both of the managers, the Newcastle manager and Arteta on Sunday, they knew that the ref wasn't looking at the thing he should have been looking at. I think Arteta was saying to the ref, what about the offside? And he's like, no, I'm not interested in that. We're not looking at that. And I think that's where the challenge system would be good, because a manager could walk over to the ref and go, well, what? Hang on, he's offside. And the ref says, I'm not looking for that, because he's been told in his ear it's a penalty. And it happened in the Newcastle game when they had the goal disallowed, or whatever it was, and it was like they weren't looking for it. I think that's what would be good for a challenge, is that Arteta could have walked over while they were checking a penalty and goes, I'm using my challenge for you to check the offside now, because the ref's been told to look for something and he's not looking for that other thing. And this is where VAR has gone very, very wrong, is that the guy in the studio is saying, oh, that's a penalty, and they're not looking. We've had it this season. We've had it when we scored against Villa and it was an offside, and he's looking for the offside, but what he's not looking at is one of our players being fouled in the build-up to the penalty, to the goal. And that they're the things that I think a challenge would help, is the ref manager going, hang on, why aren't you looking for that thing over there? And then suddenly the ref's got to start checking a couple of things. But the other thing I'd say as well, I think we need to get the technology in. That just helps as well. The offside situation needs to change. Get what UEFA are using, simplify it, and then we've got the offsides taken care of, and then it is just like these other things then that the referees and the linesmen have to deal with.
Yeah, so the thing I don't understand is that coming from an American perspective, we have review in almost all our sports. I guess baseball was the one that was most resistant, but even so, no one in any American sport would ever accept literally drawing lines on a screen as an effective method of actually judging anything.
Yeah.
They literally tell you, the refs in the NFL, that yellow line that's across the screen for first down, that is not a real line. Do not use that. Use the marker on the field, the actual physical marker.
Yeah.
That's just for the fans. Don't worry about that. Why are they drawing lines and they're saying it's not correct? Also, because they don't have a moving sideline cam, there's also angles that are wrong. Why are they drawing it like it's MS Paint?
Because
that's so crazy to me.
Because it's the biggest league in the world, and this is all they've got now. Listen, hopefully that'll come to an end. The one that they've got in the Champions League at the moment is probably the closest we're ever going to get to perfection in terms of it doesn't use humans, it doesn't use lines, it uses cameras, it maps people in real time, and it knows exactly where, and that's the closest, and I imagine we'll get that next season. So hopefully next season. But you're absolutely right, because when the lines came in, I think we were all like, "Oh, this means it's good." But then once you start watching after a while, and you're like, "Oh my god, this seems so stupid now." Like drawing those lines now seems so stupid. It just seems ridiculous now.
Not knowing when the ball leaves someone's foot is the biggest one.
Not knowing when someone leaves.
So we'll just draw a line now. The ball left like 4 inches ago. We'll draw the line from here.
Things like frames per second with the camera
didn't have the right frames.
It's all.
It's like a dodgy convenience store security camera.
Yeah, it's nuts.
No, it is. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Yeah,
things will get better.
Well, let's hope that today against Newcastle is better than against Spurs.
Yeah.
We had I looked at this, and I know that Ped, you're not the biggest fan of XG, but when you put up 0 XG.5, that's usually that's a
good indication.
Yeah,
it's a good indication
that something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
We looked like playing keep away, like we were kids and we were playing against adults in a game of keep away. Like they just kept the ball. We didn't press them anywhere past even the halfway line, and they just passed it between their midfielders and their back 5, back 3, whatever it is. They just pass it around and we just watch it. It was horrible.
I think we forgot that the idea of football is to score a goal. That's the general idea of it.
Absolutely.
Let's see. It'll be better tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be better tonight, Pat.
There you go.
Take it easy,
Cheers,
mate.
Pat.
We
see you later,
soon.
mate. Ta-ra, mate.
Ta-ra, pal. Ta-ra. A couple of things on the youth players here. J1878 says, think some fans need to stop thinking academy players are the answer to everything, particularly up front. We need experienced goal scorers, not young kids who've never had a sniff of Premier League football. All for giving youth a chance, but the timing needs to be right. EFC Graham says, I think fans think back to Wayne Rooney coming through and being sensational. He's a one-in-a-lifetime player. Most need a lot longer to develop. Yep. Geordie Tune for Life says, thanks for the answer, lads. Good luck for the rest of the season, except when we play each other. I don't get the Everton Newcastle thing either. I'd rather Everton win something than Liverpool. That's 100%. Cheers, mate. All the best. All the best. Yeah, but not tonight, obviously. Not tonight. Liam says, is tonight USA tonight? USA night. Well, it's up to
if
the Premier members.
Our Premier members are from all around the world.
All around the world.
So,
yeah.
If they're the ones who are calling, they're the ones who are calling.
Richard Parr, I think you'll have something to say on this. Richard Parr says, the difference between having a drink at the cricket or at the footy is that most cricket fans generally don't throw coins at opposition managers or throw bricks at coaches or sing disgusting songs about opposition fans or invade the pitch. It's a small pocket of fans that ruin match day experience for the majority of people. They need to be pulled up about it and either kicked up the arse or kicked out.
So what we're generalising now? Are we saying that's the that's up to? I'm not being funny. The cricket, I've seen terrible things like happen at the cricket, rugby union, rugby league, loads of sports. Bad things happen. Football just gets focused on more than anything else because every single week, hundreds of thousands of people go and watch football. So you're always going to have more incidents. Always. That's just life. That's just life. More people equals, more things. But maybe one of the issues is that if you are being treated like an animal, you will maybe respond like an animal. You know, maybe if there was a bit more decency towards football fans would act accordingly. That's not going to be 100%. I appreciate that, because
you're forgetting the Blatish England mob.
Yeah, of course, and you have that in the other sports as well. It's just that it's just that there's nothing in that for anyone else. It's dead easy to flag up football fans all the time, because there's a lot more football fans as well. You know, you get the odd few thousand watching like rugby union, then you have a big game and it's all the toffs, and you don't generally have a working class element going to those games. So you know, it's if you treat people well, you'll probably get something back. Maybe not all of them, maybe not every single one of them, but you know, that's the stuff that happens at, like I say, at Goodison. It's a handful of things I always find, and most of it's stupid stuff like running on the pitch, or which is stupid. But no, I don't agree. Treat football fans like humans, and you'll probably get a response. Where are we? Right, we're going to stay on air till past when we get the team news, and then that'll be it. So another 8 minutes or so. Let's get the premiers. So don't forget, if you're a Premier member or you want to be a Premier member, Friday night, Dave Watson for the Toffee TV Premier night. If you want to join us, tickets are available there. We've got last few tickets. Campbell Graham says, I live 250 miles away from Goodison, but can never go to a 3 o'clock kickoff because they usually get changed, ruining all my travel plans. Tom says, have you seen the footage showing Salah's handball from the game on Sunday? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, obviously nothing got talked about. John says, following on from what you just said, Per, there's very unlikely scenario that you put. What makes you think that Rondon could last 70 minutes, 45 minutes, or whatever? My point is that we have more to gain on the young lad having a chance, if nothing else, giving him a taste of the level he needs to reach, and at least he will add a bit of enthusiasm. There is not one Premier League manager that thinks like you, though. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but there isn't one Premier League manager that thinks like you. There are 9 spots, and every spot is taken generally by a player that the manager feels can do a job on the pitch. And we have had young players on the pitch on the bench recently, just none of them are forwards. The manager obviously feels has to take calculated risks, and one of them is Rondon, and obviously he feels that if he feels that he can go on the pitch and can play 45 to 70 minutes or whatever at a certain pace, then he will, because he has. But the idea of just throwing a young lad on the pitch, to me, I understand where you're coming from, and we have seen players respond. I simply don't believe we've got anyone in the 21s at the moment, bar maybe Mills, that would make a dent in the Premier League. I just really don't. I really don't. So if you know, I understand that, and Dobbin. Maybe last season he was on the bench, and when he was on the bench, then there was times when I was like, throw him on for the last 5 minutes. When we played away at Brentford, it was like, just throw him on, give him 5 minutes. Ellis Sims, they're on the bench. So if they're on the bench because we're short, then I get 100% agree with you on that. Yeah. Get them on there for the last 5 minutes. But I don't think managers will take those risks, because he can only take so many to the squad, and he has taken. Don't know if it was this season or the back end of last season. He has taken Tom Cannon in the squad, just in case. You always have to, and this is why
he was in the squad for Fleetwood. He just didn't get on the bench.
He was in the squad for another game, a Premier League game. I'm sure he was, but he never.
Yeah, he didn't get near.
This is why goalkeepers, we sometimes end up with 2 goalkeepers, because either someone gets injured the day before and the team already travelled, and you've got to fill the bench, so you throw another goalie on. So I do get where you're coming from, but I do also think these players are miles away, and I don't think many. I think maybe one or two might make it out of our under-21s, but I don't think many will. Not for us anyway.
The problem you've got in the final third, right, is that to be a striker in the Premier League, you've got to have, in general, an X factor about you. So you've got to be tremendous in the air, or you've got to be pacey, or you've got to be clever on the ball. Your link-up play's got to be really good. I'm not saying you can't get there as a kid, because of course you can. You got to build up to that. But if you're looking to just throw someone in who's young, they have, and that's the reason why Dobbin did get in, because he is quite quick and can run with the ball. Sims played an hour at Chelsea last season. A, out of necessity, we had no one. But B, because he's a big, strong lad, so it was like, well, physically, he might be all right. Yet he didn't touch the ball that often.
He didn't.
Did he?
And that wasn't his fault as such.
No.
You could see the level. You could see the difference with him and Dobbin coming on that pitch that night. Dobbin got hold of the ball and he's got good movements, and he can weave and dribble.
But Wayne Rooney was. We all look to Wayne Rooney, don't we? As like the bar. Wayne Rooney was unbelievable. He was ready at 15 to play in Everton's first team. 16. The once in a lifetime players, them kind of players, aren't they?
Very interesting team news.
Is it out?
It's not out.
Oh, okay,
but
it will be out in 2 minutes. But Dom's starting. People are saying
Dom's starting. Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin looks like he's starting.
And Anthony Gordon back in as well.
Gordon back in. Rest of the team's the same. Coleman, Tarkowski, Cody, Michalenko, Onana, Wobie, Garner. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I did say, didn't I? Yeah, the social media posts, he was all smiles and everything. I was saying, I wonder if that was an indication that he knew that he was playing. So there you go. We'll get to see whether he's up for. Hopefully he is. Hopefully he is.
Sure, he will be up for it.
No, I mean physically. Hopefully he is. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more tonight from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he can make that little bit of a step that he needs to.
Danny says, say 30 minutes in, Maupay gets injured, Gordon's having a nightmare, and Gray is the Marty Gray. Including a young player wouldn't be a smart sub.
That's ultimately what you got to look at is, are these players good enough?
That's the big thing. The thing about it now, right? There's no surprises in that building. There's no, we see all the under 21 football now. So a lot of them are live. You see under 18s, you read about under 18s, we hear stuff, other people will hear stuff, you hear the buzz about certain players. I'll be honest, there's no buzz about any forwards at Everton. None. No. There's buzz about people like Stanley Mills, there's a buzz about Reece Welsh, Seb Quirk's got some good reviews lately. Lewis Warrington, done well last year. There's no, but Tom Cannon is a good goal scorer. He's got a few goals this season. Not denying that, and lad might keep developing. But just right now, nobody at Everton thinks Tom Cannon's ready. Get him in. Nobody. So, and I understand it, John. I kind of know what you're saying. We've all said the same thing at times. Just get him in on the bench and put him on with 20 minutes to go. He's going to run around. He's going to offer enthusiasm. We want to get past that, don't we? And we need to. And I understand that's on the recruitment team. You're just saying and thinking Rondon doesn't really do anything. He doesn't. You're absolutely right, he doesn't. But sometimes that experience and manager will go. Don't forget, these managers aren't here to develop play. Dick, in the Premier comments, saying, about young players and the fans cause issues with them and all this, that and the other, and we need to give more of them a chance. But the manager's got to get results. And if a manager, put it this way,
who's got to give them more of a chance?
No, if Frank Lampard had, if Wayne Rooney was in Everton's academy now at 16, being Wayne Rooney the way he was, would Frank Lampard have him in the Everton squad? Yeah. Absolutely, probably be in the team. Yeah. The fact he isn't means that there isn't a Wayne Rooney there. Yeah. So it's quite simple. I've just watched the Leeds documentary, the Leeds Academy thing from last season.
Team confirmed. Pickford, Coleman, Cody, Tarkowski, Michalenko, Onana, Iwobi, Garner, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Gray, Gordon, Subs, Begovic, Holgate, Keane, McNeil, Decore, Maupay, Davis, Vinagre, Garner. There you go. That is the team for tonight.
So I've just watched that academy thing, and Joe Gelhart's in the 21s, and you see him scoring some great goals. He scored 2. They beat Liverpool 4-0. He missed the penalty. Should have been 5-0 at Kirby, and he scores 2 great goals, one from the halfway line and one from about 30 yards in the game and all, and he looks really good at that level, under 21s, and yet he's like on the bench for Leeds and he's in and out, and and it's that kind of thing where Everton don't have that. Everton haven't got someone like that who are banging goals in from 35 yards and going, give him a go. Tom Cannon keeps scoring.
Yeah.
And he's still scoring loads in February. Frank Lampard might go, you know what? Put him on the bench. But he's trained with the first. He trained with the first team last week, Tom Cannon.
Yeah.
So it's up to him when he gets those opportunities. So
Newcastle team: Nick Pope, Trippier, Shaw, Botman, Bain, Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff, Joe Linton, Jacob Murphy, Almiron, and Callum Wilson on the bench. Yeah, Wood,
Nosferatu.
Yeah, Karius, the Shells, Shelby, Lewis, Target, Wood, Fraser, Willock, Anderson. There you go. Right,
nice, we're done.
We'll be back.
Subscribe, hit the like button on your way out. Thank you.
We'll back after the match. Not here, I know. And we'll be back tomorrow for the final word on live on Toffee TV Premier. So the link is in the description. It'll be on the screen in a minute. We'll see you later. Bye.